Vince Vora is a senior trader here at TradingWins.com. Over the last 3 decades, he's been trading and refining his trading systems that are based on technical analysis and price action. Over the last few years, his focus has been on teaching people how to become better traders. His systems range from simple to complex and can be used in any market conditions to trade forex, stocks, options, and futures. I'm going to let him tell you all about that. I'm going to let him tell you all about that. Here he is, Vince Vora.
Great. Thank you so much, Raul, and welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you today. It's going to be a great presentation. I'm going to go through this as quick as I can, just so we can have enough time at the end to answer all your questions, okay? And leave also as much time as we can for the live trade search that we have near the end. So with that, let's get started. Before we get into the meat of the presentation, just a bit about us here at TradingWins. We are a group of pro traders with well over 30 years of experience. We're actually real traders and real teachers. We've been designing our own strategies and trading systems for many, many years, and we've actually been teaching people around the globe, all from beginners to experts on our systems. Now, today I want to share with you a little more than just the 3 simple steps to profit system. I'm also going to be sharing with you a few of the tricks that our traders here at TradingWins have been using very successfully for many years. One of the things I'm going to share with you are the 6 questions we always ask ourselves before placing any trade. This is, when I share it with you, may seem a little silly at the beginning, but trust me, if you follow this, it will make a big difference with your trading. Now, also, I'm going to reveal the 1 step that you can take to eliminate 50% of your risk when you're trading volatile markets, and we've seen that lately. Just the past week or so, there's been a big increase in volatility with these markets. So that should help you right away. I'm also going to go over what you will need to apply the system, the 3 simple steps to profit system. Okay, go over the basics of the strategy, as well as, and bring up a few historical charts to show you the actual entry and exits of this system, and then, as I said, get to a live trade review. Now, if you have a symbol or 2 that you love to trade, or that you're thinking of getting into, etc., that you would like me to review live here with you today, make a note of it. When we get to that point in the presentation, just type it into your chat box, and I'll bring up my live charting platform, and we'll review those together, okay? And hopefully, we will walk away with more than 1 trade set up that we can all use in the next couple of days here with these markets. Now, again, Q&A will leave as much time as we can near the end to answer all your questions, okay? Putting up a couple of poll questions here. I just want to get familiar with who's on line with us here today, just so I can tailor my comments to you specifically. So if you can just let me know by typing in your chat box there, which market do you trade the most? Is it stocks? Is it options, futures, or forex? What is your favorite market? If you have more than 1, by all means, type that in, okay? So I see a few forex traders, futures. Yeah, we got a good mix. We got a great mix, even options. I love trading options myself. Also, one other question here for you. On average, how many trades do you place per month? Is it 1 to 10, 11 to 20, or are you extremely active? 51 to 100, over 100? Just give me an idea of how active you are. Wow, we have some very active traders here. That's great. Excellent. Thanks for responding. That really helps. That's great. Okay, so a bit of the legal stuff before we get started. You know, trading, if you've been doing it for a while, you know it is a risky business, okay? It's a tough business. It's difficult to learn. It takes many, many years of trial and error to really hone your skills at this. So don't trade with money you can't afford to lose, okay? And really prepare yourself, okay? Really take the time to educate yourself and understand exactly what you're doing before you try it, so you don't end up taking a big hit. So let's see. Okay, you were all able to hear my audio. I had mentioned that one of my favorite sayings from Benjamin Graham was, an investment in knowledge that pays the best interest. Because if you don't arm yourself in this type of market, you will end up on a roller coaster that looks like this. The markets are a constant roller coaster. We've seen this past week just how volatile they can be. So let's try to get into the meat of it here. If the screen gets delayed at all, if you hear me talking about something that is not on your screen, please warn me, because there may still be a bit of a delay. I'm going to start now with the 6 questions that you should always ask yourself before placing a trade. Okay, number 1 would be, is this a clean chart you're looking at? I'm going to again attempt to show you an example of a perfectly clean chart, but the main idea here is to, before you place a trade, and any chart you're looking at, remove all the indicators from the chart and just look at the price bars alone. Okay. The other thing is this stock in a confirmed trend? When you're trading with the trend, that's half your battle there. What is my reason for taking this trade? Again, you must have a specific rule-based plan in place so you know exactly why you're entering or why you're exiting a specific trade. How much can I afford to risk on this trade? We will share with you today the 5 or 6 rules that we have been using for many, many years very successfully. Also, where will I place my profit target and where will I place my stop loss? Okay, at a minimum, again, you should know exactly which exit strategy you plan to use. If not, have a specific target in mind and also know exactly where your stop loss is going to go. Okay, now on your screen now, give it a few seconds, it should be coming up, is an example of a perfectly clean chart. No indicators on there at all, and the whole purpose of this exercise is to be able to, within a split second, spot the trend if there is one, or at least spot the fact that there is no trend. Okay, I see, here it goes, it should be coming up now. Okay, so here's an example of a perfectly clean chart, and within a split second you can tell which way it's trending. That way you can predict its next move much easier. Now this next chart is a complete choppy mess. It's impossible. I mean, if you had to guess the next direction of this stock, that's all it would be. It's simply a guess. Okay, when you're trading with something like this, your odds of failure are so much higher. It's impossible. Again, you don't want to just be guessing. You want to be able to put the odds in your favor, okay, when you're trading. So now there is more to trading than just having a system, okay, or a plan. It also has to do with the approach you take, your attitude, your demeanor when you sit down to trade. If you are completely wired up, are anxious and nervous, you won't be able to achieve the results that you're looking for. Now, I wish you could see my screen here. There it is. If you feel like these characters on the screen when you're sit down to trade, okay, it's going to be impossible to achieve the results you want. So how do you do it? How do you make sure you're nice, calm, level-headed, and are able to think rationally through a trade? It comes down to money management. So let me share with you the rules that we've used very successfully. Okay, number 1, as I mentioned earlier, do not trade with money you can't afford to lose. Okay, and make sure that whatever amount you're trading with is small enough that it feels completely insignificant to you. Now, for some of you, that'll be a couple $100. For others, it'll be several thousand. The amount doesn't matter. It all has to do with what feels insignificant for you, okay? Because managing the trade once you're in is so much more important than selecting the entry. And the only way you're going to be able to think rationally through that trade and be able to manage it appropriately is if you're not worried about it. If you're losing sleep over it, you're going to get yourself into trouble. Now, the other thing you should never do is risk more than 5% of your account balance in any one trade, okay? If you have a large account, you can even reduce this amount to 2.5%. You'll still have a sizable trade on, okay? But never put more than 5% in any one trade. Also, never have more than 50% of your account balance, or 10 trades if you follow the 5% example, active at any one time in the market. Now, you may be thinking, well, I'm leaving half my account sitting there doing nothing. The whole purpose of that is because there are so many factors when it comes to the markets that are completely out of our control. If we think back to the best example I can give you is 9/11. If you think back to 9/11, the tragedy happened before the markets opened that day. Okay, that's when the attack took place, and the markets never did open that day. And when they did reopen, it was the following week. Okay, so they remained closed the rest of that week. And when they did reopen, they reopened at half their value. Okay, so if you had your full account invested in there, you would have taken a huge hit and had a difficult time coming back from it. This way, you still have capital left over to make it back. And in fact, 6 months after the attack, the markets were right back to the same highs they were before the attack. So you could have quickly and easily made it back with a system like the one I'm going to share with you today. So please do yourself a favor and follow that rule. Now, the other thing is that you should never place more than 2 trades per day, okay? Especially with the 3 simple steps to profit system. There will be so many choices out there for you to choose from, so many trades setting up, that you want to be selective and you want to pick the 1 or 2 best. For example, we saw earlier this week that the Dow was down like 300 points, okay? Last week, I believe it was Thursday, was down over 300 points. So on a day like that, you would see many stocks setting up for a short trade. Now, if you were to jump in and put on 10 short trades at once, and the very next day the market rebounds, again, you're in a big hole. So you want to be selective, you want to take the best of the best, and only place 1 or 2 trades a night. Spread them out. That's the best thing. Now, a few other rules that we follow, or goals we have here. One of the main ones is to try to capture the middle 60% of a move. Okay. Again, we prefer to trade with the trend. So in order to do that, we need to give up the first 20% of that move just to confirm that the trend is actually in place. And then the last 20% or so of that move, and we don't kid ourselves, we don't have a crystal ball. If anyone tells you they know exactly where a stock is going to turn around, they're lying to you, plain and simple. So only concentrate on that middle 60% and you'll do very well. Now, one of the sayings that I use a lot and that I really want you to walk away with today, I don't want you to forget this. One of the best things to do, especially if you're just starting out, is you will never go broke taking profits, okay? Don't shy away from taking profits. You know, over time, you'll get better and better at it, and you will be able to stay in trades a little longer. But when you have a profit, you take it, you can't go wrong. Okay, now, it's never about whether you're right or wrong that's important, but how much money you make when you're right and how much money you lose when you're wrong, which is why you'll see shortly the way we cap our losses to make sure we don't have big losses, but how the system allows you to let your winners run is a great thing. Now, we spoke a bit earlier about trending versus volatile markets. The reason why trading with the trend is so easy or so much better, you're so much more likely to have success trading with the trend, is because it's predictable, okay? You don't have to be a professional to really understand when a stock is in a trend. It's very simple to spot, which we will show you. Now, volatile markets, on the other hand, are completely unpredictable. You get vigorous changes back and forth. So those are the times that you have to really be careful. And how do you do that? How do you eliminate at least half your risk during volatile markets? The best way to do that is by trading with low beta stocks, okay? Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with beta, beta is a measure of the volatility or systematic risk of a security or a portfolio in comparison to the market as a whole. So let me give you an example. Let's take Amazon, for example, trades on the NASDAQ 100 index, okay? If Amazon had a beta of 1, that means it will move in line with that underlying index. So if the NASDAQ was up strongly one day, then chances are Amazon will be up strongly that day. Now, during those times where the market is moving sharply back and forth, okay, and those high periods of volatility, you want the exact opposite. You want a low beta stock, something that sort of beats to its own drum and does its own thing. So the key here is to look for a beta number of 0.4 or less, okay? What you want is a beta number of 0.4 or less. Now, let's look at the flip side. If a stock had a beta of or greater than 1, that would mean it's even more volatile than the underlying market. So that's exactly the opposite of what you want during those times, okay? Whether you are an aggressive trader or a conservative one, following low beta stocks during periods of high volatility will serve you very well, okay? So let me get into the strategy itself, the 3 simple steps to profit system. Now, a bit of background. Many, many years ago when we started designing this strategy, we were looking at indicators to provide clarity on our chart. That's what indicators are supposed to do. They're supposed to provide clarity. So we started adding indicators on our chart, and eventually our chart was so cluttered with indicators that it was difficult to read. It was just a mess, okay? At one point, we had about 7 different indicators on our chart. We had moving averages, we had the MACD, we had RSI, we had full stochastics on there, we had Chaikin money flow, we had Williams percent R, we had Bollinger Bands, etc. So, and just picture it. It was a complete mess. Now, of course, when we did get a trigger, when we did get all those indicators lining up perfectly, our accuracy rate was very, very high, okay? We put on some great trades. But what we found over time was that our level of activity became less and less, because trying to find a stock or a market where all those indicators would line up at the same time was extremely rare or extremely difficult. So in an effort to become more active, but still remain as accurate as possible, we decided to start removing indicators slowly, one at a time. Okay, and as we did that, we found that our activity level started to go up, but yet our accuracy level didn't drop very much. So in the end, we ended up with 3 indicators on our chart only, and that's why we call it the 3 simple steps to profit. Okay, now the indicators that we have on there today are simple moving averages. We have 2 simple moving averages on there. Now, we have in the past used weighted averages, exponential moving averages, etc. They all work well, but we just found over time that the simple moving averages work best for us with this. So there's 2 simple moving averages, and the 3rd indicator on there is the Chaikin money flow, the CMF. Okay. Now, the real secret sauce to the system, what really separates this from others, are the specific settings we use for these indicators. They are not the default settings. Over time, we've back tested this over many years. We've forward tested it, meaning trading with real money, and the settings we've come up with are what really makes the difference here. Okay. Now, for any of you just starting out and not familiar with it, simple moving averages they're calculated by adding the closing price of a security for a number of time periods and then dividing that by the number of time periods, just a straight average. Okay, now we will have a shorter term average on our chart as well as a longer term, and the shorter term, tends to respond a little more quickly. You'll see that line turn a little faster, while the longer term one is a little smoother. All right, and the Chaikin money flow, what that does is it measures the amount of money flow over a specific period. Okay, now most charting platforms have a default of 20 or 21. I've seen many with 14 as well. Again, the setting we found to work best is slightly different. Now, what will you need to be able to trade this system? You don't need any complicated software at all. Any charting platform that has those indicators, a simple moving average and a change in money flow, is all you need. Okay, so there's many free charting platforms out there. Actually, the one I'm going to be using today is free. It has a free version, which is TradingView.com. But there's Big Charts, there's FreeCharts.com, StockCharts.com. There's many others out there. Of course, if you prefer to use something a little more sophisticated like Thinkorswim, eSignal, they all work great as well. As far as hardware goes, if you're viewing this webinar, that's all the hardware you need. Okay, you can trade this from anywhere. It's very simple to do. Now, a few benefits of the system. The system will work on any market globally. Okay, stocks, options, futures, forex, any time frame at any price level, it works great. Now, any trader or investor with any level of experience can use this. You don't have to have a certain level of experience for this. You'll see in a moment just how simple this is. And it can also be traded on a part-time or a full-time basis. The only difference there is the way you should think of this is how much time you have to devote to your trading. So if you have a family and a full-time job and very little time to devote to this, what I would suggest is just increase the charting time frame that you're looking at. So in other words, you may want to consider trading on weekly charts. That way you take an hour or two on a weekend, review your open positions, and flip through a few charts looking for new trades for the coming week. And once you set it, that's all you'll have to do. If, of course, you can devote most of your time to this, if you prefer to trade full-time, you can look at intraday levels as well. The two intraday time frames that work great with the system are the 15-minute and the hourly. I would not try anything less than 15 minutes with this system. Okay. Now, a great feature of this, or a great benefit, is that it really will help you grow your account consistently. I'm going to show you in a moment a couple of slides of the type of performance we've been able to achieve with this. Okay. And also, when we asked the poll questions earlier, I noticed there were several option traders on here. Options are fantastic for this system. They can really help you leverage this system, and you don't need anything complicated. Okay, straight calls or straight puts is all you need. You don't need to educate yourself on butterfly spreads or iron condors, calendar spreads. None of that. Simply going long calls or long puts is all you need to leverage this system. Okay. Now, here's an example of some performance that we've been able to achieve. Now, the first slide you'll be looking at was during a time period with higher volatility. Okay, so there's a lot more back and forth. Now, what I want you to notice here are, obviously we can take long trades, we can take short trades, and the price level, again, doesn't matter. There's $3 stocks here. There's $1,000 stock. This was Google before the split, but there's many stocks out there like Priceline, etc., that are what we consider monster stocks, and it works just as well there. Now, this is sorted by closing date. What you'll typically find during times of higher volatility, okay, are you're going to get a mixture, wins and losses. You will typically see more wins and losses, and what you'll notice is that your losses with the exit strategies we use will be kept to a minimum, while you'll be able to still gain some pretty decent wins on your winning trade. You'll see here there's $11 a share, $12 a share, etc. Now, for any of you wondering how long you will be in a trade, now all these examples here are using a daily time frame, okay? And there's, of course, there are the 1, 2 days, 4 days, and then there's also the longer one, 76 days, etc. But on average, you can expect about a week and a half to 2 weeks is what you'll expect to be in a trade. Okay. Let me just clean up my chart here and flip to the next screen. Okay, now, like I said earlier, the real nice thing with this is it does really help you grow your account consistently, especially if you have a smaller account. Now, 4 or 5 times a year, there's times when the markets all trend nicely together. Okay, in other words, the Dow, NASDAQ, S&P is all trending either up or down, doesn't matter, but it's all trending together very nicely. And during those times, you see this type of performance here. You'll see that I have about 30 or so stocks on my list here on this spreadsheet, and all but 2 are winners. Okay, and even the 2 losers, one was 7-cent loss, the other was a $2 loss. So this is the kind of performance you can expect when the market is trending strongly, because this is a trend following system. So that's the beauty of this, and those are the times we all look very forward to. So let me get into the actual entry criteria here. Let me bring up some historical charts where I've marked up the entries and exits to give you an example here. Give me just a moment to take a sip of water. Thank you. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, on our chart, we will have a shorter term moving average marked here in yellow. This is our shorter term moving average, and in blue, a longer term moving average. And what you see in red at the bottom is the CMF, or the Chaikin money flow. What I want you to concentrate on there is that middle line, the white line. That is the 0 level, and we're going to be using the CMF as a confirming indicator. So all you really care about is whether it's above 0 or below 0. Okay, so if you look at the bottom left of your chart here, the first entry with the blue arrows, that's our first trade. This is Twitter, by the way, and our first entry here, what you're looking for is you're looking for the shorter term moving average to be above the longer term in blue, so the yellow above blue. Okay, and this is more than just a simple moving average crossover system. It doesn't have to come from below. The yellow line could have been from above and just came back to touch the blue and then separate. That's fine. But as long as they're stacked appropriately, so in this case you want yellow above blue, and you always want the price bars to be above both. And then if you have that in place, you want to look to your CMF, and if it's above 0 the way it was in this case, then you have a valid entry for a trade. Okay. Now, in this particular example, we got in and it was around the $41 mark, and our exit here got us out around the, I believe it was $57 mark. So a very nice trade. Several different exit strategies you can use, but I'll go talk a bit more about that a bit later. Now, the opposite is true for short trades. If you look towards the right of your screen, the purple arrows, you have the yellow moving average below the blue. Okay, the shorter term below the longer term, price bars below both. In this case, it's kind of covered by the arrow, but they're below both. And then you have a negative Chaikin money flow. That is the criteria you're looking for a short trade, and you can see this one worked out as well. Now, one of the most important things on this chart is that the middle part of the chart here, this choppy mess, it keeps you out of those times. Okay, so looking ahead now. This example here is Facebook. Now, Facebook is one of those stocks where you will get several setups on Facebook throughout the year. Typically with the system, you're going to find that there's a handful of stocks that will only give you 1 or 2 setups throughout the year, but then you have others like Facebook and a few others I'm going to show you that have many setups during the year. Okay, so and the other thing I want you to notice on here, every time we have a trigger, is more often than not, it tends to move in your direction right away, which makes it so much easier for you to manage that trade, because you're never behind, so you don't sweat it. You know what I mean? So going back to what I said earlier about how important it is to manage a trade, but you have to be level-headed. If you're anxious about it, if you're nervous about it, or worried, losing sleep over it, you're gonna have a very difficult time. This way, once it goes in your direction, then it's just a matter of where you're gonna, are you gonna move up your stop? Are you gonna trail it, etc. And we'll talk a bit more about that as well. Okay, now. We've lost a lot of time today, so I'm going to move ahead and show you a few more examples quickly so we can take some questions and review a few live stocks together, okay? So here's Starbucks. It's another one of those stocks that has several setups throughout the year, pretty much one after the other. Now you'll notice here this short entry here. This was a retracement trade in this uptrend, okay? Again, these are the types of trades I would only suggest that more aggressive traders take. If you're a conservative trader and the stock's in an uptrend, you should only look for long trades. So in this example here, this short trade ended up being a loser. And, they're not all going to be winners. It is what it is. But you will have several more winners than losers. Let's have a look at a few others here. Again, it works on anything. Here's the FXY, which is the ETF for the Japanese yen. Excuse me. Pretty much a really choppy, messy chart with a lot of gaps, but during this one nice, strong trending period, it actually got us in and out with a very, very nice profit, okay? Another one here, GLD, which is the gold ETF, same thing. You'll see here, you get both long and short entries. Again, noticing most of them go in our favor right off the bat, okay? Now, I'm going to just bring up my live charts here quickly. So if you have a symbol that you want me to look at, by all means, please type it in, and I will review it with you, okay? Okay, there's a lot of people putting in symbols, so let me just take off a couple here at random and go through it quickly. And if you have questions, type them in while you're at it, and we'll try to get to those as well, because we only have a few minutes remaining. So let's look here. AAPL, everyone's looking for Apple, so let's take a quick look at Apple. So you can see here, Apple recently, since mid-April or so, after their earnings report, it gapped up, never looked back. It was a nice, strong uptrend, and there was a trade entry. Not really. No, this one wasn't, because the CMF was negative at that time. But what you're looking for Apple for the next setup, okay, is remember the yellow moving average here. That's a shorter term one. It needs to come back to at least touch the blue and then separate to the upside again before you have a valid trigger there. And again, what do you notice here? The price bars currently are below both moving averages. For a long trade, you need the price bars to be above both moving averages. So that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a bit more of a retracement before this turns around and goes back up and gives you a valid entry to the upside, okay? Let's look at a few others here. Someone is asking for Disney. Let's have a look at Disney, DIS. Now, this is an interesting one. This is great. What do you notice here? Remember what I said earlier about having a clean chart, something that you can spot quickly moving upwards with a nice slope. This is one of those. If you remove your indicators off the screen, you can see it's a nice slope, nice trend. And here we are. The yellow moving average has recently pulled back just below the blue and now started moving above. You have the price bars. Today it's just below, if not right on, the moving averages. And if we look to the bottom here, the CMF has turned positive. So what you really want, this is just about there for a long trigger. but what you need is the price bars firmly above both moving averages there, the yellow stacked over the blue and the CMF positive. So this is maybe by the close today you'll get that if it continues upward, or the next couple days. So keep this one on your watch list, Disney. Thanks for that one. Let's look at a couple others. Someone else is asking for SHLD, Sears Holdings. This one has been underwater for a little while. It's looking a little ugly. But having said that, if you look at this now, the moving averages come together here. Now, sorry, if anyone's wondering, I do have a third moving average on my chart here. That is really not necessary with the system, but it's something that I personally use with any system that I trade with. In red here is the 200-day simple moving average. It's so widely used by so many professionals and retail traders that I like to have it on there just for a point of reference. But again, if we get back to here, the yellow and the blue are overlapping right now. What you're looking for is some space in between. You want the yellow to move a little below the blue. Price bars are already below, and it looks like the CMF is already below. So this is another one to keep on your watch list. The next day or two, it may give you a valid entry to the short side. Okay, so let me just have a quick look at this. They're flowing through so quickly, it's hard to keep up. Euro USD. Oh, someone's asking for the forex Euro USD. Okay, let me bring that up for you. Euro USD. Okay, here we go. So you can see the euro, and this is again why I keep the 200-day on there. You can see once it broke below it, it retested it and then started moving down. Now, unfortunately, the CMF is not showing up here on this symbol right now. But if you look back here where the moving averages had crossed there, right in that area, that would have been a valid entry. You had the yellow moving below the blue. You had the price bars below both. And at that point, I remember looking at this another chart. If any of you have your charts with the CMF, you can confirm it. But the CMF should have been negative at that time, and that would have been a valid trade. Now, if you had gotten into that, you'd still be in this trade, believe it or not. That was a real nice, sharp move lower. Okay. Now, let's see if there's any others. Oh, GLD. Someone's asking for an update on the gold ETF. Let's have a quick look. Okay, this one again is hovering around the 200 here. You'd have to wait again for a trade to the upside. You need a bounce from here. You need the yellow to move back above the blue. Price bars be above both, and CMF to move above both. For a short trade, again, you need some kind of retracement back so the yellow can at least touch the blue and then move lower, etc. But you need that. Okay, so we do want to get a few questions in, so let me just quickly switch back to my presentation, finish up very quickly, and then get to a couple of your questions. Okay, now there's a lot we've gone through. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go through everything. Okay, so what we do have, for any of you on here who are serious about making money with this system, we do have our 3 simple steps to profit class coming up on August the 23rd from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, it's set for a 2-hour class, typically goes a little longer than that. We typically stay for about 3 hours. We want to make sure we get all your questions answered. The event will be recorded. If by chance those times don't work for you, you might be in the West Coast or overseas and have difficult time attending at 3 p.m. Eastern, no worries. It will be recorded for you. Now, during that class, I'll actually be teaching that class myself. I'm going to give you the full setup in detail to be able to take your trading to the next level immediately. Okay, I'm going to help you set up your chart with the indicator, save it as a default, so that you can set it and forget it. You won't have to worry about it anymore. And I'm going to give you the secret sauce here, the specific settings of these indicators, which is really, really what separates this from the other systems, okay? I'm going to also give you more than just that system. I'm going to show you a way that you can combine different technical indicators to really, really take your trading to the next level immediately, okay? And the best part of this presentation, what our previous attendees have said they love the most, was the second half of this class, which is when we will do a full scan of the markets, looking for trades setting up for that coming week, so we can all walk away with a list of trades to place that coming Monday and make some money with those trades. So all you need is to go to the link there, the TradingWins.com/simple to sign up. Now, when you sign up, what you will be getting here is an instant download. We will send you out a copy of the previous class that we recorded. That way, you don't even have to wait until August the 23rd. You can get started with this right away. You just watch the recording. That one was about 2 hours and 45 minutes in length, I believe. Okay, it normally sells for $297. I'm going to throw that in for you. You will have a seat, even though you get that recording. You will have a seat at the live class on the 23rd. Which we normally sell for $297, and again, you'll also be getting a recording of that within 24 hours of that class. Okay, and we're also going to throw in a 30-day membership to our pro service. Now, our pro service, what we do is we record videos nightly, recapping what the markets did that day, where we believe they're going next, and we not only highlight or review our open positions, but we highlight new trades setting up for you. So if you don't have the time to do all the research yourself, that's a great way to get a fresh list of trades on a regular basis. And we also, any trades that we are going to take, we email those to you both when we get in and when we get out, just so you can follow along and really learn from us. Now, for any of you on here, the total of that package is $691, but anyone on this webinar today, we're offering it to you for the low price of $97, okay? So again, the link is tradingwins.com/simple. Now, we do limit it to 25 people because we typically get people from different backgrounds, different levels of experience, and we really want everyone to walk away with something that they can start using immediately. So we need to take the time and answer everyone's question, make sure everyone gets this down pat. So we do limit the class to 25 people. Now, we're not interested in selling you anything that you can't use. So if for whatever reason you're unhappy with it, we'll give you your money back. Now, I'm just going to put up a few testimonials of previous attendees here. That Kirby, which attended, I think it was not last one, but the one before, said that the session worked for him because it was such a simple system. You will see how easy it is to spot the entries and exits on here. Just, you know, after a couple days of going through charts, you'll really see how easy this becomes. Julie, who attended, I think, the third class ago, said she made back the cost of her webinar many times over with the trade ideas on AT&T and Whole Foods Market that she got from the session. Those were great. It really worked out well. And Carlos, who's an options trader, said that he's really done well with his options trading in this system. So that's great. Again, TradingWins.com/simple, August 23rd, 3 p.m. Eastern, but it will be recorded if you can attend. Now, if any of you have any questions, if we have a couple minutes left, by all means, ask away, okay? Again, I kind of skimmed through a slide there where we had put up our 100% money back guarantee. If for whatever reason you're not happy with it, I really doubt you won't be, but if for any reason you're not happy with it, by all means, we'll refund your money completely, okay? Raul, do we have any questions?
A couple of people want to know, Vince, do they need any specialized kind of software to be able to use this system with the pro class on Saturday?
No, not at all. Again, if you're watching this webinar, that's all you need. Any laptop or desktop, whatever you can to sign into your your webinar. That's really all you need. Again, charting-wise, any basic charting system will do as long as they have the simple moving average and the Chaikin money flow indicators. We will give you those specific settings for you, help you set up your charts so you can save it as the default and never worry about it again.
Vince, there are a lot of questions. Just I'll go through the ones that are coming in as best as I can. Jared wants to know, will you show us how to scan for stocks?
Yes, actually, the second hour of that class is specifically for that. And what I'm going to do is show you how I scan for it and how our whole team here at TradingWins does this nightly. I'm going to share with you the watch list that we use, and we're going to go through each stock one by one with our live charting platform. And together, we're going to identify setups for the coming week so we can all walk away with a list of trades to place that week. Okay.
A few people, Maria, Jose, and Rosie, they want to know what exactly is included with the monthly service that you're including with the package.
Again, the monthly service with the package, every night from Sunday night to Thursday night, you will receive a video. It's typically 3 to 8 minutes long. It includes a recap of what happened in the markets that day, along with where we believe they're going, and several technical analysis tidbits. As we go through it and we review the charts, whatever setup is happening there, we identified for you, because this is really meant as an education tool for you. This is to help you further your trading. It's not just geared towards the 3 simple steps to profit system. It's just trading in general. And we will also review any trades that we have on, any existing positions, and highlight new trades setting up. Now, we here at TradingWins, our traders use several different systems. They don't just use the 3 simple steps to profit system. So the trades we take that we send alerts out on that you will receive by email whenever we ourselves take a trade and exit it, they can be based on any one of those trading systems. So not only do you get the benefit of the 3 simple steps to profit setups, but we will share the setups of the other systems that we are going to take as well. Again, it's all geared towards teaching you to trade. So,
thank you for that. Michael wants to know, does the winning percentage on the system decrease with day trading? Thank you for that question, Michael.
Actually, no. It does. The time frame doesn't matter at all, nor does the price level of the stock or which market you're trading on. It's pretty consistent. Again, the only thing I would caution you on is if you're going to use, if you're going to day trade this, the 2 time frames that work best with this are the 15-minute and the hourly. Okay, those are the 2 you want to be using.
Thank you for that. Troy wants to know, how extensive will the discussion on options be during the session?
Now, we do get to that as well. Again, we cover more than just the 3 simple steps to profit system. And with options, it's not extensive because of the time limitations, but we do get to, we talk about which option series you should be choosing over another. As we identify trades, we'll look at it. If, for example, we get a long trade, we identify some calls. We'll help you select which option series you should be choosing, as well as how far out the expiry should be. We'll talk a bit about the theta and the delta, etc. We won't be getting into the Greeks extensively, but again, just the basics that you'll need to leverage this system with options.
Thank you for that, Michael. I think we have 1 more minute. You ready for 1 more question?
Sure, go ahead.
What happens to the subscription at the end of the month of the promo?
Oh, right now, again, you'll be getting 30 days included. At the end, it will automatically renew at the price of $97. If you enjoy it, which I'm sure you will, there's nothing to do. It'll just automatically renew. If you'd rather not, then it's just a matter of sending us a notice to cancel, and that'll be fine.
Okay, I'm sorry, 1 more.
Okay, sure, no problem.
I've got a lot of people that are ordering right now. They want to know, when will the recording be available to them, the recording of the previous session?
The previous session, we will send that out. I'll get our staff here will send it out this afternoon. Okay.
So this will give them a chance to review the material before they show up on the 23rd.
That's right.
And that's what you really recommend.
Absolutely. And that way, if you watch it now, not only can you get started now, but if you have questions from it, jot those down. So bring those with you to the live class on the 23rd, and you'll get a lot more out of it. So it's fantastic, actually. And again, that recording is about just under 3 hours, and you should be receiving that in a few hours, I'd imagine, very shortly.
Great. Kristen, I'm not sure how much more time do we have. Do we have a few more minutes for a few more questions?
You actually have
Why don't
just
we just
about
go ahead and
4 more
continue
minutes.
until she'll cut us off.
4 more minutes.
About 4 minutes, great.
All right,
Great.
we'll do a few more questions. Terrence wants to know, what type of stocks will you be looking at in terms of price range?
Again, there's a big range. We typically stay away from penny stock, meaning, you know, the ones that are a few cents. I know typical definition of a penny stock is anything under $5. We do trade the $3, $4 stocks as well, all ranging from there to the monster stocks like the Teslas, Googles, Amazon, Pricelines of the world. So there's a real mix. There's no limitation here with the system. The price level of the stock doesn't matter. So again, anything you want me to review at the session, bring them with you. Let me know. I'll go over it for you. And again, we'll be scanning through our watch list, the ones we use on a regular basis, and share those with you. And so there's a big range of prices there as well.
Thank you for that. Ronald has a question that I know you have a strong opinion on.
Sure.
How do you handle gaps? Thank you for that question, Ronald. I always get Vince going with this question.
Yeah, personally, I don't like trading with gaps. I'm glad you brought that up. Thank you so much for that question. If you ever get a setup with the system based on a gap, meaning, for example, there's earnings on a stock and it pops up, so immediately the yellow line crosses the blue, etc., and you get a valid setup based on that gap. I would not take that. Okay, the majority of that move is already in. What I can do for you is show you a nice trick on how to handle gaps. Once you do get that gap, what do you do with it? How do you trade it? If you bring that to the class, make a note of that. I will show you. I will add that in for you and show you a nice trick of how to do that.
A lot of people are asking if they can order on the phone. You certainly can. It's 1-888-574-2426. That's 1-888-574-2426. We do have our operators here standing by for orders. You can also contact us by email after the session at info@tradingwins.com. We're also online on chat, usually till about 7 p.m. Eastern time every day, from the time that the markets open in the morning. Last question.
Sure.
I know I've said that before, but there could be more. Earnings. How does this system work with earnings?
Again, it's not meant for that. I would sit out the earnings, okay, and then I'll show you how to deal with it after the announcement has already come out. But typically what you'd want to do is whenever you get a valid setup, long or short, doesn't matter, you want to make sure that you have at least a couple weeks before the upcoming earnings announcement, so you have room for this to move without the gamble of earnings. Because as you know, earnings can go either way. It really has nothing to do with the setup, the technical analysis setup. So I would avoid earnings if you could.
Thank you for that. Vaughn wants to know, what's your advice to help stop counter trend trading?
Well, again, with the setup, I'll be showing you with the specifics of it and how to really use those indicators, not only with the specific setting, but just there's a few different things to look at when they're setting up. You will avoid that. Okay, the whole point of this, it was designed specifically to be used with the trend. Okay, this is a trend following system. That's what makes it so easy, and that's what makes it so consistently profitable. So I'm going to show you exactly how to avoid counter trend trades.
Vince, thank you so much. I see that our time is up. Kristen, thank you so much for inviting us to be a part of the presentation today. We really enjoyed being here. Thank you for Thank you to all of you for your interaction. I'm so sorry about all the technical difficulties that we've had. We've actually have somebody on the phone would go to webinar right now to figure out what was happening. Thank you to all of you, Michael, Ed, Tamara, Vaughn, Ronald, Jeff, Jose. Thank you to all of you. Kristen, thank you again. Vince, last word.
Thanks again. I really enjoyed this, and I really hope you can join us on the class on the 23rd. It's a lot of fun, and it's really a great way to really help take your trading to the next level. So thanks for having me again. Thanks, Kristen, for everything, and take care, everyone.